Thank you, Hirlock, and thank you, Minister, for sharing time. And indeed, thank you for bringing forward this important bill, because everything that we're doing to have this conversation more openly and in this House, again, contributes towards getting this work done and getting this work done quickly. I myself have raised this now for, I think, at least 12 times in this House since June 2020. The Minister knows the sort of campaign of low-grade harassment that I've engaged in with her nearly, in terms of letters, PQs, requests for further information. And all of that is motivated by a desire to have an education programme which reflects the settled law of the land in terms of equality, in terms of marriage equality, in terms of same-sex relationships. All of that reflects a desire to have an education programme that reflects settled policy of the government in relation to education about consent, all of what we're talking about domestic violence, sexual gender-based violence, the third strategy that the Department of Justice is to bring out in the early part of next year. Everything that we're talking about in those pieces of government policy needs to be incorporated in the Department of Education and in the education programme that it rolls out to our children from the age of 5 to the age of 18 in an age-appropriate, fact-based, objective, inclusive way that highlights dignity and respect in relationships, that highlights consent, personhood, boundaries, and fact-based detail. I was speaking to a parent of a child in 2 different schools in my constituency, one of whom brought a doctor into the school to provide information in relation to contraception, sexually transmitted diseases, and very much the practicalities of protecting young people as they grow up and go into the different stages of life. The other got a video, and that sort of randomness is just too random, and it can't continue, and that's what this programme needs to be developed. I've been very focused not on religion or not religion, secular or not secular, and I really don't think it helps or contributes to the debate. What I'm talking about is actually just information for young people and getting this work done. We don't need to have an argument about science versus values. The values are those of the state. The values are those that are already settled law, that are already government policy. So there doesn't need to be a debate. And I have questioned the department again and again on the scale of consultation that it feels it needs to go back out on, given that these are already well-settled policies from the Constitution right through to every aspect of government policy and education in all that we talk about, in all of our committees in relation to education, justice, children, government strategies, and indeed the Constitution. So there shouldn't need to be endless consultation in relation to it. But we similarly don't need to turn it into a culture war about religion versus not, secular versus not, atheist versus not. I personally am an atheist. I don't have religious beliefs, but I respect every religion in this state as I respect every person and the values that they hold. However, the law of the state is first. The ethos, where we're talking about ethos, is that which is settled in our Constitution, that which is settled in the decisions of this House, the strategies published by government, and what we try to achieve. So I don't believe that those arguments are helpful or will get us to a point where we're delivering the sort of education that we need to. Where I'm focused on is the very practical details of this, the where, the when, the what, the how. And one of the things that's of concern to me, and which I've only just really realised in listening to Minister Foley's speech this morning, is that despite the work having begun in 2018, and despite there being 2 programmes of work working contemporaneously in relation to the primary cycle and the junior and senior cycle, as Minister has said, meeting on a monthly basis since those groups were convened in October 2020, what I'm hearing from Minister Foley's speech this morning is that actually the junior cycle is more developed in terms of the curriculum, that's the one that's going out to consultation, and that's the one that we can expect to see developed, brought into our schools in September 2023. I remember in June 2020 looking for this in September 2021. So a junior cycle programme that may begin in September 2023. My question is, where is the senior cycle? Where is the primary cycle? And are these things being developed contemporaneously, as I believe they should automatically be? Why wouldn't they be? Or are they being developed consecutively? And I would hope maybe the Minister might clarify that. I'll write to her to ask her that specific question. I know there's a department official here. He may be able to clarify it for me afterwards. But that would be of concern if in fact there's something that's working consecutively instead of contemporaneously, because I don't see why that would be necessary. This work began by Richard Bruton in 2018 to develop a completely different relationship and sexual education programme that reflected the settled law of the state and the education needs of our young people, to take randomness and to take randomness out of it and to make sure that everybody was getting the same education. So I would hope that that would be approached right across the board in the department, and that we could expect that age-appropriate, fact-based, inclusive, we cannot say it enough times, education would be delivered for all children, from September 2023, if that is the date. And I could, in a way, and I hear the arguments about 9 months here and the parliamentary technicalities of bills and amendments and so on and so on and so on. And I would hope that that doesn't need to become divisive, because what we're actually talking about is just getting the programme done. What I would like to see, irrespective of who delivers it, how it's delivered, is a programme for all children from 5 to 18 that takes the randomness out of it and that delivers an education that will help break the cycle that we have seen again and again of gender and sexual violence and of discrimination and exclusion. We need to do the opposite of that, and we need that for all children from 2023, if that is the date.